Lock and load, I can see you lying through your teeth. Fingers on my...
Stop that. I'm so sorry if I bugged people out. So I'm using this. I'm a mess. This is not working. Hey, it shapes. Yeah, my camera, I'm really upset. It wasn't working. It usually does. Maybe I shouldn't be using these visuals, because I don't know, it's just bringing back bad memories, I guess. I love it, but like I don't know why I'm so fixated on this project. Anyway, let me get my chat open. Hello. Hey, good to see you, Greg. And let me get it on the actual thing, because it's having quite the time here. Guess it's cursed to not work on Saturdays, I guess. I guess this is pretty cursed to do it right now. Whatever. But I want to have some VOD up, and I just want to continue the process, you know? Why is this not showing up, man? Oh, it's because I don't have it, there you go. Okay. Yep, we're just gonna do this. Okay. And yes, it does continue into the notes. So I read the 3rd edition today. How you doing, boss? My camera's not working, so I'm pretty pissed. But we're gonna make do, I guess. It is what it is. I went to Tyler's Eagle Court for the record, Eddie, which is interesting, which was pretty interesting. Anyway, yeah, so I wanted to start with reading this particular section from the Anime Encyclopedia, and I might just not give a crap. Let me just do something real quick before I'm not gonna see much, but I need to make sure that this is the right. Okay, we're gonna go to the desktop here, and we're reading a particular article, advertising and sponsorship. This is an unusual thing for me to be doing, but this is a big art. You see this is all that. I've not read this yet. I just think it'd be interesting to share and read. You know, it's not the most... Oh yeah? Good shit, Eddie. That's awesome. How you doing, Cookie? How's it going? What's poppin', Cozy? Hey, Roger. Good seeing you, too. It's good to see people in chat. I appreciate you guys coming out. Even though I'm bummed because my camera's not working. Watching the stream in 480. As it should be. Let's go. Yeah, my camera's not working and I'm pretty upset. But, you know, and it's not the most kosher thing to be showing the whole encyclopedia like this as is. It's just going to be this section, this advertising and sponsorship thing, and then I'm going to go back to this, the AMV project that Hazel and I did last year. But we're going to do this first. I want to read advertising and sponsorship and see what Jonathan and Helen have for us in this regard. I am anticipating how they seem to have a pretty, you know, they're very adamant on how, I don't know if adamant's the word. It's the idea that, like, yeah, anime is very much a sponsorship thing, and it's very interconnected to toys and the whole thing. And I think they get that not all anime is like that, but I think any anime that is connected to that, I think they have it's everything is just Pokemon or something. I don't know. But we're gonna let's read this. Corporate sponsorship in one form or another is one of the vital cornerstones of the anime business, and has been since the days of early anime. I literally just got into this blurb, and you're already redirecting me to another blurb of yours? Come on. A bit of a nitpick, I'm sorry. The advertising industry is not only a direct sponsor of animation, but also an indirect patron of the arts through the investment it generates in productions and in animators who are otherwise known for their outhorse. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's this dichotomy. It's a direct sponsor and an indirect patron of the arts through the investment it generates in productions. Yeah. With early movie censors hostile toward children's films, Ikuo cunningly found a way to exhibit outside theaters, showing his Hare and the Tortoise in department stores as a lure to sell audience members the products of the sponsor Moringa chocolate. Japanese animation has been a tool in the selling of products and services ever since, with sponsorship often providing the funding for innovation. While Seitaro Kitayama is remembered today for his smallish output of fictional films and fairy tales, advertising contracts formed the bulk of his studio's output from 1921 onward for everything from political campaigns to cleaning products. Breathlessly described in its day as the longest Japanese cartoon ever made, Kitayama's Oral War, Koko Eisei from 1924, formed the closing reel of a documentary about dental hygiene made for the Lion Toothpaste Company and is likely to have clocked in at 8 whole minutes. One of the problems with such milestones is that they were trumped on an almost monthly basis until anime reached full feature length in the 40s. Okay. I agree that it's interesting that it's baby steps and there wasn't really a whole industry behind it. With there's multiple people working on. I don't know how many people worked on that 8-minute film. It is interesting though. I recently finished all the anime adaptations of Aizawa's manga, Nana Gokinjo Paradise and Tenchi Nanga Janai OVA. They're all great. Each more punk rock going chronologically. Yeah, interesting. I actually had not I hadn't heard of Tenchi Nanga Janai. That's pretty cool. I might be checking that out. I still have to watch Paradise Kiss though. That's the only one I'm missing. During Japan's 15 years of war, which detailed with World War II after Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor. By the way, this first paragraph, it was already very fascinating. I definitely appreciate the direction this took. It was not cynical. It's very matter-of-fact and coming from a position of necessity and origin and actual history. And it doesn't come from a place it's all corporate or whatever. I feel like it could take a lot of it could be very cynical, I think. It was a legal requirement for all films to demonstrate an educational function, or at the very least the maintenance of moral fortitude, turning even children's cartoons into oblique promotions of the war effort of Japan's colonial empire. But it was in the post-war period that anime came into its own as an advertising medium, with its punchy shorts and graphical conveyance of information deemed ideal for selling of products. In cinemas, and increasingly on television from 1953, animators were called upon not only to fully animate commercials, but also to provide inserts of graphics, diagrams, or maps into commercials, otherwise filed as live action, if they are preserved at all. Okay. It's not really that I'm sorry that I'm pausing a lot. I always feel really bad because I feel like it may seem like the stream is frozen or something. That's a problem with not doing on cam shit. Oh well. While posterity remembers the primary Japanese animation event of 1958 as being Toei's first color animated feature Panda and the Magic Serpent, while posterity remembers the primary Japanese animation event, the most widely seen cartoon of that year was technically Tori's Bear, a TV commercial for a whiskey brand visual to anyone with a television several times a night. By 1958, a corporate resort from Dentsu, the largest advertising firm in Japan, estimated the number of advertisements made by that point to be of 1,200, of which fully half were animated, not merely in cell form but in neglected media such as puppetry and stop motion. Although commercials today are often timed in mere seconds, it would be it's simple. That reminds me of those Ashton of Joe commercials. Let me pull one of those up. Yeah, not working. Haha. Yeah. Sorry for the Ashton of Joe death. That's new. That's great. Oh my gosh. I don't know if he was supposed to film that. Oh, this is the classic. I love it. Gotta add that ending, and it's awesome because it's actually they're actually making a very clever Joe reference because it's in in the office in the restaurant there, the Kim Yongbi, so they're making like a callback to that scene with Kim. It's just really funny, and it's just great to hear his voice in that particular way. But yeah, it's like this happens all the time, and so it'd be like, it'd be like recording all those commercials in this dictionary, or putting this on Mal or whatever. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel the same. It's important to acknowledge it, of course, but it is just like, yeah, it is what it is. Tenchi Jakunanai is alright. It's one of those shorter VAs to a much longer manga. Oh yeah, fair. It's actually informative, which the rest of the encyclopedia was like this. I know. Like, you can tell, like, they are really educated and care a lot about the media by these sorts of articles, for sure. It is just I just think that their attention is spread so thin by making this encyclopedia, and I think that people point to it, it's like it's just those two people that working on it when it's supposed to be a lot of people. But it's not. I don't know how true that is, because they have editors and people that they credit, and they cite at least Giant Gorg as an entry that somebody entirely else wrote to make sure it was good. Like, but like they didn't take that effort to do everything else. I don't know. It is unfortunate in that way, but clearly they've put the effort in the actual research into this. By 1960, of an estimated 500 workers in the animation industry, 300 were working for Toei, and another 20 were for Otogi Pro, and the remaining 150 were spread across 24 small ateliers in the advertising world, often staffed in mere twos and threes, making hundreds of commercials, many of which have now been lost. Oh, of course. According to the historian Nobuyuki Sugata, whose untranslated book Before the Dawn of TV Anime, Terebi Anime Yoakemai from 2012. That's interesting. That sounds like a great book. I wonder if we could get translation of that. Is the most substantial analysis of the topic available. There's an entire subsection of advertising-focused animation from companies like Ikosha, Sakasu Studio, and Osaka Eiga, whose work has been forgotten by anime history because they did not make the programs, but instead the filler that came in between those programs. The only studio likely to have name recognition with modern fans is TCJ, which made some 1,400 commercials between 1954 and 1960, and those 2,200 if one includes live-action commercials with animated inserts. But even TCJ is only remembered not because of its commercial output, but because of its move into narrative entertainment, with a name change to Eiken and its most famous and enduring work, Sazai-san. So the studio that made Sazai-san also did a lot. You can kind of tell. Low key, I think you can kind of tell. This forgotten influence on the medium also extends into production, with award-winning work such as Beer Through the Ages, Beer Mukashi, see puppetry and stop motion, and advertiser-funded programming such as Instant History, sponsored by the confectionery company Meiji Seika. Summarizing this day in history in 3-minute sketches, Instant History switched backers and channel to become Otogi Manga Calendar in 1962, funded by Kirin Beer. This subsequently developed into several Kirin-sponsored shows, forming early exercises in anime documentaries in history, including Knowledgeable University, Tomorrow's Calendar, Knowledgeable University cartoon biographies, Learning Around the World. And this is like reminding me of like Manga Sekai and Manga Nihon and stuff like that. Manga Ijin, a lot of these anthology series. Learning Around the World, the Kirin House of Knowledge, and Kirin Calendar of Tomorrow. This long genealogy of interrelated shows only came to an end in 1984, 23 years after its first iteration, racking a combined total of 6,021 episodes. It became the standard practice for advertising, and these are like 2 or 3 minutes long or something, right? Yeah, 3-minute sketches, or Instant History was at least, but it stemmed into these, I think. It became standard practice for advertising companies to buy entire sectors of airtime in half-hour slots, and to then supply not only the program that filled them, but also the commercials that filled the breaks. This involved the advertising companies directly in original production and encouraged symmetries and synergies as clients cooperated to find suitable shows. Animators were commissioned not just to make the shows, but also often the attendant commercials. The swift proliferation of television channels quadrupled the size of advertising investment between 58 and 63. However, after 63, the involvement of advertisers in the television market largely plateaued, except for chemicals, pharmaceuticals, and food products. Although Tezuka is remembered as the father of TV anime, it was Kaoru Anami, Tezuka's liaison with the advertising company Manensha, who suggested that he seek commercial sponsorship for Astro Boy, and who suggested that Tezuka approach a confectionery company. This embroiled Tezuka in a struggle within the 60s candy marketplace, referred to in advertising histories as the Chocolate Wars. I have heard of the Chocolate Wars, with Moringa Chocolate refusing to take a risk on Astro Boy, and Moringa's competitor, Meiji Seika, offering the money instead. Anime TV in the 60s was riddled with sponsors, often for confectionery, but sometimes from elsewhere, such as Seiko watches, which is Microid S, Fujisawa chemicals for Fujimaru, the Wind Ninja, that's interesting, and Oranamin C, vitamin drinks for Star of the Giants. It was soon noted on the production of Quattro the Ghost that anime created to sell toys usually took about 2 years to wring all related purchases out of their young fans, after which point it was better to simply come up with a new anime in the same slot that was almost exactly the same but just different enough to justify new purchases. Toy companies were to have the longest lasting impact on the medium, where some anime included product placement for certain items sold by the sponsors. Anime in the 70s came to be dominated by the more invasive form of context integration, in which the product to be advertised formed a fundamental part of the story. So Mazinger Z in 73 was supposedly the first anime made by a production committee, quote-unquote, in which a number of interest groups, from record companies to toy companies to manga publishers, all collaborated on the creation of a franchise that would allow each of them to benefit from a context-integrated narrative. Anime thereafter has often had to literally dance to such sponsors' tunes, for good or ill. Some creators, like Tomino, even flourished in this environment, embracing the opportunity to tell any story the sponsors wanted, as long as the requisite number of toys were name-checked in each episode, such as Gundam. Later iterations of the same process can be seen in Zoids and Transformers, and indeed most anime made for children up to the present day. And I mean, you can also mention now to Tomino, they don't actually care about the show. He's gone on record how he really just names them whatever he wants, and kind of makes them increasingly ridiculous names because it really doesn't matter. But it's still impressive that they put so much substance into these shows. Because man, I've been working on such a similar toy vehicle, and I know it's specifically a toy vehicle because we're listening to the creator of this particular IP, and I'm not going to name what it is because we haven't announced it yet. Listening to the creator, there was an interview that they did, and all they talked about were the toys. The cartoon is really just the vehicle, and some people care about the story, and there is some things of substance there. I'm sorry I turned off the chill hop. I don't know if you can hear that. I figured the chill hop's kind of nice. I don't want to make it too loud though. Let me know if that's good. The thing with it, right, is that it's not the same. It's just not the same. The things that Tomino is making with a really consistent narrative and characters, and they just kind of have the robots there. It's totally different from the show that I'm working on. That's an American cartoon. That's a toy vehicle. The substance is completely different. And also, it's not like they're really going to care that much about, I think they have some character designs credited or something, and some background artists, but there's no animation credits. There's 15 storyboarders on this, and I tweeted about this earlier, about the priorities, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, anime for older viewers since the 80s often repeat the same process. Computer game companies and the publishers of novels are often found sponsoring anime incarnations of their titles, and the modern otaku market is arguably supported less by anime itself than by the attached fields of merchandising. Mayer Steinberg in Anime's Media Mix notes that this is a tantalizing prospect for modern corporations, and that while a fridge or car might be expected to last for 7 years, short-lived media franchises still have a half-life of less than 2 years, allowing sponsors to sell the same old stuff all over again. Yeah, and that's just kind of how it is, I guess. You know? I don't know. In the 21st century, production companies remain a powerful presence behind the scenes of most anime. This can manifest in unexpected ways. Production committees remain powerful. Yeah, so they're talking about production committees here. This can manifest in unexpected ways, not only in the continued support in the industry for toy and game tie-ins, but in subsidiary metatextual artwork, such as that created at the time of the Berserk movies, showing the leading characters anachronistically eating hamburgers. Meanwhile, content not in the movies though, like in a commercial, like they're using the characters to promote this thing, like just what we just saw with Joe. And did I read like? But in subsidiary metatextual artwork, showing the leading I don't know if they really. I don't know if that necessarily. I don't know if that's worded the best way, because it doesn't really necessarily imply that like it seems like separate media, because I doubt that actually happens in the actual movies. Meanwhile, context integration is far more insidious and skillful than some might think, and spotting it is one of the subversive pleasures of modern anime viewing. No, it's not. I don't know. That seems very cynical. This is where the kind of cynicism I think is coming in. Like they kind of take some glee in being able to spot what was paid, what's a advertisement. Like, are they gonna mention Tiger and Bunny for like all the, sponsor things are in there? I don't know. As a rule of thumb, if a product's name is spelled correctly on screen, such as the presence of Nissin Cup Noodles in Freedom or Love Labo Cosmetics in the Bihada tribe, the manufacturer has paid for it to be there. And if, as in the movie K-On!, characters spend several minutes of screen time flying on a prominently featured airline and blundering around London, asking where their brand name hotel is, you can be sure that money has changed hands. Because otherwise they'll find a way to fucking sue you, I imagine. Because otherwise they'll just be like, hey, that's our thing. As a result, many of the holy lands and places of pilgrimage of modern otaku, where they pay homage to their favorite shows by seeking out their locations in the real world, are often imitations of journeys made by the fictional characters in the pursuit of selling a product. Like Antarctica! I mean, I'm sure, maybe. Since content integration does not require ticket or DVD sales to monetize a production, it is likely to become more, not less, prevalent in the future. Not even piracy can diminish it, but will instead amount to free distribution of commercial messages from sponsors. Yeah. Yeah, we're still here? Okay. I was worried. Okay. Oh, good. And the 20 minutes have gone by, so the thing is, like, that shit's the AMV thing is restarted. Cool. Yeah, that's our advertising sponsorship thing. I thought that was very informative. With the use of talking about the full context and the actual history and giving a source like the Before the Dawn of TV anime book. That sounds really excellent. And the minute they bring up Gundam, I thought it was just like, yeah, I feel like we know this already. And it didn't feel like, I don't know, as substantiative, I suppose. That's my personal opinion. But, maybe that's just my perspective. I feel like modern anime has less product placement than it used to. Like, the amount of Coca-Cola in 80s anime, it's even in Pat Labor's OP. Or Gosenso Sama Banbanzai. Oh, yeah. Like, that's fine. That's one thing. And I'm not bothered by it. And I don't think there's really a point to, like, cynically point it out and be like, oh, they paid for that, I don't see it. It's like, yeah, that is how they did it. That's how they got made. That's cool. I don't know. It's... It's like, I don't think all media's like that, and it's sort of like, I don't know. I think spotting advertisements can be fun Easter eggs, but I don't think that inherently says anything about the story itself. Otherwise, I think the piece is pretty solid. I agree. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go into reviews, because this is just the 3rd edition today. That's why I read that article to kind of billow out this a little bit. Although I still think this would be under 2 hours, especially because I started way late. Thanks. So I didn't count how many positive ratings there are. Oopsie. I was gonna do that, but then I'm like, let me set up OBS first, and oops, the camera's not working. I'm sorry. I'll stop bitching. Look how many positive reviews they have. I feel like this is the most that I've had in one sitting. It was great. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 positive reviews. That's great. I'm very happy about that. And the total just for the 3rd, and then additional, well, I'll do the tallies later. But yeah, 18. Let's go over them a little briefly. And if you want me to read any of them, or if you're curious about me reading these further, we can. I'm totally fine with product placement in 80s anime, by the way. Don't mean to suggest otherwise. Oh yeah, me too. I get a kick out of the sheer amount of Coca-Cola there is. Yeah. All right, so they were positive about Baka and Test. They thought it was a good-hearted anime. Bakemonogatari they liked. They thought it was a clever use of language, well-balanced characters, the virtue of limitations of TV anime. Like, they really thought they do things well here, and that was a little bit of like a small peak of their kind of. They do think a little lesser of TV anime, I think. Something I kind of want to see if I can get more evidence for. If they have more of a respect or like lenience towards movies or something. I don't know. Maybe not. But they did like it. I think they weren't as big of a fan of the 2nd season. I think they were just like, it gets more into this. I don't know. But they liked the first one at least. So I was like, that's positive. Bakegyaman. I thought it was something truly remarkable. Bakuman they liked. Grounded, it rings true, and it's competently made. Pretty good. A lot of popular titles, to be honest. Titles I certainly recognize. Bamboo Blade, they thought it was a charming, involving show. I've certainly heard the same. That sounds accurate. Great. Basilisk, they were positive about. Welcome return to the old-fashioned bloodshed and intrigue. There is something interesting with Basilisk. Let me read the Basilisk article, because there was something about that one that was like, huh? A little slip of the mask, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. So they described the plot, but I want to zero in on their their blurb about. Yeah, there I see it. Okay. Ninja are a popular staple of anime and often used as juvenile entertainments for naughty children, from Hattori the Ninja to Ninja Cadets. Basilisk, however, has a much more impressive path to the screen, beginning life as a novel by Ninja Resurrection creator Futaro Yamada, reimagined for the younger generation in manga form by Masaki Sagawa for young magazine uppers. It also rode a wave of interest in the period following the success of Aoi, a year-long live-action TV series from 2003 that prepared the real-world historical background for this anime adaptation, which also includes a welcome return to old-fashioned bloodshed and intrigue. So, like, I think that was the part that I was like, they seem pretty positive about it. This is the weird one, though. There are a lot of Naruto fans out there, but truly, ninja are supposed to kill people. And Basilisk gives them plenty of opportunity. Come on, man. First of all, have you seen Naruto? They do kill people. Like, it's not Game of Thrones. There's not a lot of named characters that die, but... And also, it's shown it, like, they're obviously kind of holding its demographic above it. Like, it's like, oh, we know you can't kill a whole lot of people. We know it's a Shonen Jump. I don't know. But also, like, I'm watching Naruto, and first of all, there's Shinobi, which I think is effectively ninja, and there's a ninja way, and they're not ninja, but, like... To boil down ninja to are supposed to kill people, like just assassins, I don't think that's fully accurate, personally. I hate to actually them about ninjas or something. I'm not like a big, not like super into it in that way, but I don't think ninjas. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think they can do more than just kill people. Like that's assassins. I don't know. But also, yeah, like there's plenty of death in Naruto. I don't know. That was just a weird dig at Naruto for me. Anyway, Baton. I think I wrote that right. Yeah. It was beautifully designed. Pity the film is hard to find. That was interesting. I wanted to mail that one. Let me find it. Baton. Sonkyokyu no Jutsu. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, this does look interesting. Not a great mouse score, but that's okay. Project to mark Yokohama City's 150th anniversary. I don't think they mentioned that. Or maybe they did. Let me double check. Baton. Wait, they did mention it. It was made to run during the 150th celebration of the Park of Yokohama and has only occasionally been screened since. Okay. Well, I guess it's not like totally available, but I guess it's not like lost media either. That's cool. Have you finished Naruto, Shapes? I am on episode 370 of Shippuden. I'm only watching 2 episodes a day, and I'm pacing myself. I am a little ahead, actually. I am really enjoying it, and so I'm watching a bit ahead. But I think once I get into the next block of filler, I'll definitely like not be watching it for a little while, but then I'll kind of plow through that. Try to watch that all at once sort of deal, but I'm gonna enjoy the part I'm on right now. I don't want to like outright say the moment in the story that it's happening. I don't want to spoil things, but they're fighting. They're having a time. I did learn about the first like the relationship between the first Hokage and Madara. That was pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, Naruto dunking is a little old now. I know. Battle spirits they liked. They actually really. It was strange, and like it's the kind of article I wish the rest of the encyclopedia was. I don't know where this came from. Out of battle spirits of all things. Look, I've heard of a lot of these kinds of shows, and you probably have too. I don't know if I really heard of battle spirits necessarily the same way. I guess there's an O&A. That's kind of cool. But let me find the first. Yeah, this is the series they're talking about. Let me get to that here. Cool. It's clearly a like a card thing, right? And they're summoning different things. But like, let me show you their article on this. Battle spirits. Where is it? Yeah, it's right here. So battle spirits. Look how big this article is. It takes all of this and then that. There's a lot of anime that don't get that much. It's really weird. And like the things that they say about it are kind of substantive. Like they describe the whole first season, and then like just the way think about like how they talked about Beyblade and these other shows, right? And then compare it to this. Yeah, I mean they were positioned positive in Baccano and Test, but they were weird on the Matsuri OVA. Yeah, I don't know. I think overall they'd be positive. I take it as being positive personally. If they're like miffed on a particular OVA, it's like Unsurprisingly, originated as a 2-player collectible card game by Bandai and Sunrise, released in autumn 2008, around the same time as the first TV anime and manga. Cards representing dragons, spirits, animals, birds, and insects are grouped by color or attribute, as the game calls it, around cores. Like, they're describing the game! They don't ever describe the game in these. I don't think they've ever... Like, they go around the plot, but they're just like, it's Pokemon. Like, they never actually describe... Like, by color or attribute, as the game calls it, around cores representing different strengths and skills. They can be played in various combinations to defeat an opponent's hand. By trading or buying cards, players can build up their own specialist decks, as well as acquiring some or all of the many commercial sets. The game quickly gained an international following, and a second anime, followed in 2009. This time, the protagonist is this character. Like, are they going to have this amount of detail for Yu-Gi-Oh? Or, like, certainly didn't for Beyblade. Like, they're described, like, this time the protagonist is 12-year-old Dan Bashin, who can be childish and insensitive, but is already a respected game champion. We don't hear much about his background or family, although he mentions that his mother is a good cook. The series focuses... Did they watch this? They watched Battle Spirits? But they haven't watched... like, this is multiple 50-episode shows! Dan is taken from Earth, like, they have a whole paragraph about the second series. And there was one moment that they also bring up Naruto again. Once again, the characters are a little... The series was followed in 2010 by Battle Spirits Brave, in which Dan travels to the future to carry on the fight against evil and sell a new set of cards of the same name. Once again, the characters are a little older, as if growing up with their audience and the game's players, and the story reflects this. Still action-oriented, but once again darker and more serious in tone and color palette, compared to Naruto, which similarly aged with its primary viewership. Anime time skips are a thing, you know. Like, there are plenty of anime before like fucking Ojamajo Doremi. I don't know if they mention it in their Doremi article that they actually grow up. I think they say that there's a fourth season. Maybe they don't look at like the character designs and they just assumed or something. But it's like, it's so weird that they're giving that credit to Battle Spirits of all things. This stuff that they say at the end of this article that 5 years in and with a devoted English-speaking following and a number of dedicated English websites, Battle Spirits is a success. The biggest surprise is that the anime is still not licensed for English language release. It was never even licensed over here. Did they put Battle Spirits? No, they don't. As like an asterisk for like a dub or whatever. It was never brought over here. But like I'm shocked of how much detail they're putting in this. Started a completely new continuity separate from any of the previous. Do they talk about this in Digimon's art? Like, I really am curious. Like now I'm like wanting to look at their other article like in this vein. Are they going to talk about like this for Pokemon or I don't know. I mean, what do you do with Pokemon? Because up to 2015 they were pretty much doing the same similar thing, kind of resetting with a new region and stuff. So they probably don't say as much. Probably just more about like how big of a success Pokemon was in the US. Once again, it resets the continuity, and it was torn apart by riots 14 years ago. Takiwaki was rescued as a baby and taken to nearby pacifist. There he grows up, like they're just going through the... Like they're just describing each of these series, taking them pretty seriously. I like that. My baffling tone is coming from where the fuck is any of this for the other friend? Like, this is completely uneven. I don't know if I'd say Naruto aged with its viewership. The series lasted like 9 years after that time skip. Yeah, it did only have a 2-year time skip and the characters aged up a little bit. But then, you're right. It did go an additional 9 years. It doesn't age up at the same, nearly as, like, identically as Ojamajo Doremi, for example. Like, this is not, like, a ununique thing. I don't know. So let me, like, after they describe all of the series in, like, at least a paragraph in detail, the point of a game-inspired show, whether devoted to cards, online games like Dot Hack, console games like Street Fighter, or RPG scenarios like Record of Lotus War, is twofold. To make devoted fans feel like they're seeing their fantasy world come to life, and to draw new fans into a world of accessories and collectibles. Most TV anime is either advertising or education. You know what I mean? Like, I guess you could make a technicality on that. Is either advertising or education based on that advertising thing that they did last time. The best strive to be something more, but even the less ambitious do their utmost to keep their core market entertained. The challenge is to attract new customers in the target age range while keeping existing players engaged for as long as possible, until exams, romance, or other hobbies lure them away. 5 years in, and with a devoted English-speaking following and a number of dedicated English websites, Battle Spirits is a success. The biggest surprise is that the anime is not localized, not to be confused with Art of Fighting, which had a similar title in Japanese. I just don't get where this is coming from. I'm happy. Maybe they got somebody else to write this article. This is so uncharacteristic of them. I'm happy, but it's like, where the fuck was this for a lot of other titles in my that just seemed really lackluster, or predictably lackluster, I guess. Anyway, let's keep going with Kimonozume, which they call the Beast Claw. Like, I was reading the synopsis, and then it was only a little bit in where they were like, oh, it's the director of Mind Game. I'm like, Yuasa? I look at the Japanese title. It's Kimonozume! I had no idea. I was reading the whole synopsis. I've watched the show recently. And then, I don't know, maybe that's me not having the best memory with that, or I'll read the synopsis. I don't know if it's exactly the best synopsis, personally, but I'll sooner blame myself than blame them. Toshihiko is the eldest son of a very important man. Though the Momota family family business works mostly below the radar. The Kifuken organization isn't a commercial company. It's a group of hunter-killers. Cannibal demon beasts, Shokujinki, are prowling the world for prey, disguised as humans. An expert swordsman since childhood, Toshihiko is one of the elite group trained to stop them. Then he falls in love at first sight with a beautiful girl. But a loss of killer focus isn't the only problem of his romance. Yuka has a dark family secret, too. And then they talk about how a premise that starts out like Madhouse's Wicked City originated and directed by the director of Mind Game. I don't know why they say Madhouse's Wicked City and not Kawajiri's Wicked City, but that's a nitpick. Originated and directed by the director of Mind Game. I'm like, wait, what? But they were positive about it. Plenty of gory action, some sexual titillation makes for a show that with a lot going for it. It's something of a mystery that the series hasn't been released in English. I agree. The deliberately ugly Mean Streets art style is edgy and interesting, and the animation is fluid and expressive. That's it. Good article, right? Like, short, sweet, that's what I would want. This is definitely another person. Yeah, yeah, I think so too. I don't know. But yeah, it was weird. They kind of negative spoilers. Like, I knew going into Kimonozume that the point of the show is that the girl that he falls in love with is also a beast that he's hunting. It's a Romeo and Juliet situation, but like, or like Beauty and I don't know. But like, that's on the cover of the anime. And it's in episode 1. They've spoiled way more in other places. Why do they have to, like, Yuki has a dark family secret too? What? And they've clearly seen it because they were like, it's plenty of gory action, some sexual titillation, it's a lot going for it. Like they seem to have seen it, but they don't want to spoil it in this way. In a way that, like, I think anyone who goes into it probably knows. I wish it focused more on this dark-crust romance. I think it does well enough. I think the problem is that, like, they fall in love so instantly, it's sort of like automatic, and there's no tension there. Like, there is tension, but it's so matter of course. I don't know. I get that, though. Of course they were positive on Beast Player Eren. This is such a show that they would care about. Solidly plotted, highly detailed, beautifully written, echoes World Masterpiece Theater. Yeah, they were just like, oh, yeah, dude. And I get it because that show has a plot. There is oh my god, there's an anime that they are very negative towards, that, like, not very negative towards, they have this incredibly dismissive comment, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so mask off for, like, what they care about in anime. Oh my gosh. I'll keep going though. Beyond the Heavens, epic story, not to watch with brain switched off. Like, okay, interesting and worthwhile. Like, the brain switched off thing definitely it definitely gives me the kind of the rolls my eyes. Ever since Trixie's turn your brain off video, I think that was I want to rewatch that, to be honest with you. Beyond the Train Tracks, the beautiful short film, perfect miniature. That does sound interesting. I'm be interested in checking that out. Bible Black, they were positive about, if you can believe it. It's because it has an actual plot. Like I said, it really does seem that they're positive about it. Conspicuously well-drawn characters. They didn't say anything negative about it. Like, this is the opinion stuff that they had, and, like, it's totally their opinion. So yeah, absolutely they liked it. All right, big wind up. They liked it. Animation good, at least as much about the characters as it is about the match. Yeah, that's the majority of sports anime, by the way. Like the Scamboli moment. Like any other sports anime in the world. Hey, Bob, good seeing you. Aaron is awesome. I agree. Yeah, I mean, I've heard very good things, of course. Oh, it's Yoru. Good seeing you. How's it going? Never gotten to Naruto. Always preferred the games to the anime and manga. That's fair. I love the anime, to be honest with you. How couldn't they be positive about Black Bible Black? No, it's because it's hentai. Like, they've obviously... Like, this is the first hentai that they've been positive about that I think I've listed as a positive review from them. So, I mean, I can understand why they might not have given an opinion. But, yeah, no, they were cool with it. I think Anno's recent exhibition really helped out TV anime a lot, as it showed how much value it has to his and other creation. This book feels like they think more of movie as a higher standard. Yeah, no, definitely. And my boss also happened to mention that this was the case for pretty much the industry writ large. Like, a lot of people who actually work in the industry, they do kind of see movies as the big time and TV as the small time. So small screen versus the big screen. When, like, that's clearly not the case with consumers, right? I'm good. How are you? I'm decent. I mean, I'm pissed that my camera isn't working. I was trying to get it to work, and I started stream late. And so I have this AMV going on in the background instead. That's like 25 minutes long, so it'll loop a couple times. But it's fun. It's fun. But otherwise, I'm doing good. I'm happy to be streaming, and good to see you guys here too. Yeah. Where was I at? Yeah, any other sports anime in the world, of course. Bihata Tribe, an oddity, but a rather charming one. Yeah, that's kind of all they said about it. I'm like, okay. I think I actually looked this up on Taiga. This actually sounds interesting, because it's like it's a short anime, but it's about, it's like a kind of a fashionista type of thing. Like, I guess they try on a bunch of, clothes, and it's sort of accurate and stuff, and I don't know, it sounds like a good time. Let me find the description of it. Bihata Tribe. Bihata sisters are maintaining a 300-year-old family legacy by entering the World Beautiful Skin competition. Women all over the world are vying for the top prize, but our girls mean to win. And since they're in a series sponsored by Japan's Love Labo beauty company to promote its mass cosmetic line, viewers can compete with either Misaki or Sarah and still come out a winner, as long as they buy the cosmetics. The art and design, inspired by the packaging for the cosmetic line, is reminiscent of Rose of Versailles, and the sisters presented in romantic style with ornately dressed hair. Many of the pack images refer explicitly to anime of days gone by, and even in modern dress, the sisters have an air of archaic femininity, an oddity in a world where supermodels and celebs rather than animated characters usually sell the myth of perfect beauty, but a rather charming one. It's 8 minutes, 12 episodes? I don't know, sounds kind of cool. Birdsong they liked. Definitely something to show people who say anime isn't art. I certainly like that description. I think I'll mal that, actually. I kind of want to check that out. Birdsong. Oh, Torino. Yeah, this looks like an art. Yeah. No offense to it. Oh, it's an Amano. Is this Amano working on it? Yeah, he directed it. Well, there you go. That's cool. So it's 34 minutes? Yeah, it sounds great. Sounds like a time. Black Blooders they liked. It's a lot of fun. Terrific OST. Any nod to Golden Bat is fine by us. They were really digging it. And Black Butler. They were really positive about Black Butler. Like, super positive. And it made my day. Like, this was like my favorite anime at one point. I loved this show. Nobody could possibly understand us the way Black Butler does, because they were both British. Like, they were like, yeah, like, this is so accurate. Like, this is sick. And stunning. Wow. Like, I didn't even, like, write all of the positive things that they said about it. Let me find it. I'm not going to read the whole article. No. However hard you try, America, you will never be able to parody Britain as slyly and subtly as the Japanese can. Only another country with more than a millennium of monarchy and a set of arcane, unwritten social rules, from breach of which flow consequences you would scarcely notice, apart from certain polite reserve and a series of inexplicably closed doors, could possibly understand us in the way Black Butler does. From Jack the Ripper to Dorian Gray, from the Hound of the Baskervilles to Monty Python's Flying Circus, from nursery rhymes to the salt of the earth and the beings in whose graves you sprinkle it, Black Butler understands the dynamics of under and overstatement, self-deprecation and self-assurance, and how to walk the line between. The richly vicious reality that underlies the nudges and winks and swoons coexists side by side with utter silliness. They might as well have called it carry-on vamping. Stunning, beautifully designed, and more than acceptably animated. It's superbly acted and written in Japanese, and almost as good in American. It's clever, funny, and sometimes unexpectedly moving. I don't know if I'm sorry if that was a little loud. I don't know if I've ever seen them that positive on an anime before. Like, this is like in their top 10 or some shit. Like, holy shit. And I'm cool with that, honestly. I get people could like turn their nose on that because it's Black Butler or whatever. Nah, that's cool. That's great. I appreciate that. That's like their most positive that they've been, and I mean, you know, if that means that they have a lot of negative stuff, like, by all means. You know, this third edition, with how many positive ones there were compared to how few they had in this last one. If you guys were here last time, that's like in this one chunk from half of the B section. The stuff highlighted is how many positive reviews they had in the first edition, and that's how many the positive reviews they have in the third edition. That's really interesting and impressive. I think it might hint at the idea that maybe they're being a little more positive in the third edition or subsequent editions. Like, maybe one of the bigger criticisms that they got from the first edition, this is just a guess on my part, is somebody told them that, like, you're so uniformly negative, it's like you don't like anime or whatever. And they may have taken that into consideration, and a lot of their subsequent reviews, they were just a lot more charitable towards, perhaps, and even glowing. And they're actually kind of showing how much they like something instead of just being kind of passive or not saying anything. Maybe, I don't know. I think it goes to show something. I think that was a very interesting trend. How many negative? A couple, not too many though. Like, again, the positive was just incredible how many there were. Balder Force, Dot Hack, and Lane fans have seen better. Like, it was just like, oh, they've seen better and it's written better. Like, they've seen better. And there's a very nasty rape scene, and they say VR is no excuse. Fair. That sounds understandable. Batman Gotham Knight, unfortunately, mostly not very good. Like, they do give the mixed sort of they give that mixed thing where they give like kind of some positives and negatives about it, but that right there, it's just that they sort of just totally like, yeah, no, it's not very good. It's like, oh, you know. Battle-Girl's time paradox, they were negative about. You can't reproduce the mindset that created such errant lunacy unless you're ready to play pachinko till your eyeballs bleed. Sure, it's not the most negative they could have been either. It just sounds like they were just peeved, and they wanted to write something kind of creative and like, you know. So I'm like, that sounds negative to me personally. Battle Girl, yeah. Onisuki, or like the I don't like my older brother or something like that. I don't know. Animation and script are undistinguished. So I'm like, okay, sounds all right. Negative to me. Behind closed doors, sex depicted gets increasingly violent and unpleasant, and like that's another one where you could potentially call that mixed. Because it's like, maybe the point is that it's unpleasant and like that's the direction it goes in, but it seems like an inherently negative attribute, so I'd consider it negative. And then Binjotan. Apparently we are supposed to care. This had my jaw completely unhinged for over 30 seconds. Like, unironic. Like, I'm trying to give you like an like a more concrete number to like make it viscerally like that's how accurate it was. Like, I actually could not believe they said that about any of these anime. So Binkotan, whatever. Let me pull this up. Oh, it's even a different. Okay, yeah. Let me pull this up here. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And unfortunately, I have like a different. Okay, Binchotan. The name refers to a piece of charcoal she carries on her head. Is a cute little girl who lives in a simple life in the mountain. Apparently, we are supposed to care. She is actually a mascot character created by artist Takehiko Igusa for the games company Alchemist compared to DigiCarrot. What? What? That's it? That's it? That's it. I don't know what this fuck. This was my first experience knowing what this anime was. I'm not trying to defend it in a way of like, oh, as a Binchotan fan or something. How do you dismiss any anime like that? How do you just be like, oh, apparently we're supposed to care? What the fuck? So they watched every anime ever, like seriously, under the context of trying to enjoy it or trying to write a book? I don't know anything about this author. Okay, Bob, so it's 2 authors, and you don't know who wrote what article. They didn't watch every anime. It's definitely not possible. They say as much in the encyclopedia that there's no way we could. But they give their opinion about a lot of different anime. Not all of them, though. There's a lot of them where they just kind of describe what it is. They just give a little bit of a plot summary, and maybe like in 2000 something it had an OVA. You know, they give a little bit of info about it. It's an encyclopedia in that regard. But the thing we're trying to document is that there's a very contentious choice that they have opinions as well about some of these anime. Not all of them. And so like there's a lot of instances where you can tell that they didn't watch it, that they didn't watch Attack Number 1, or they didn't watch Aim for the Eight. There's certain ones where it's like they're not giving their opinion and they're not giving a whole lot of information about this. So it's like they haven't even watched it or tried. And that's fine. I'm not expecting you to watch every anime ever. But like it by giving your opinion, you're giving yourself different priorities. You're also like we saw with like Battle Spirits earlier, maybe somebody else wrote that. Like they do have guest articles in this that they do confirm they have guest articles, so not everything was written by them. They're the 2 authors that are credited, so you're just going to assume that it's either of those, like one or the other. Although they both put their name to this book, so they kind of own all this shit that's in this book, basically. Did they actually give Dot Hack a good review? If so, I retract my criticism I had of the Encyclopedia. Yeah, I mean, they seem to like it. I haven't read their Dot Hack review yet, but like, you know. Yeah, I don't know if they think they can be just as scathing and dismissive in the 3rd edition as they are in the 1st. I think okay, but they write some good pieces. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying with this Binchotan thing. I mean, that could have been that was probably the 3rd edition, because the show came out in 2006, and the 2nd edition came out in 2006. So maybe it could have been 2nd, it could have been 3rd. I don't have the 2nd edition on me, but yeah, apparently we are supposed to care. Like, why would you say that? Why would you put that in there? And that's all they say. Apparently we're supposed to care next. Like, she's apparently a mascot character created by artist Takehiko Igusa for the games company Alchemist, compared to DigiCarrot. Next. They just kind of wrote it off. And like, I don't know, it doesn't seem right to me. Like, you don't include it at all if you're really not going to say anything like substantive about it or have it there, right? Because you're ignoring a bunch. You don't have Daikon 3 or 4 as an article in this encyclopedia. I know by a particular rule that they set here, because they're not putting a lot of like these short commercial things or an opening to a convention. I get the origins. Based on the origins, like I can understand not talking about it. They do mention it in places because obviously it's important, right? But you're giving complete articles to something like Binchotan where you're saying we're supposed to, like, apparently we're supposed to care. And I'm not even talked about the fact that this is another very blatant example that they don't care about slice of life. Like, they are pretty anti-slice of life, in my opinion. Like, they care if it has a plot. Like Beast Player Aaron. If it has a plot, cool. Like, that's fine. Do your thing. But like it doesn't seem like they're either apathetic to these kinds of shows, or they're just like, oh, why did you have to focus on the slice of life elements in Black Heaven? Why didn't we talk? Why did the space battles elements is so underused? And it's like that's the point. It's not supposed to be. You're not supposed to know a whole lot about it. It doesn't really matter. The point is his midlife crisis, and it's a character piece. I've talked about it in the previous thing. Yeah, it's like they went into expecting to hate it, which seems reasonable considering how it looks. I get it, but like I don't know, it doesn't. I don't know if that's the right approach to be so judgmental about something like this. Don't talk about it then. Just describe the plot and move on. Why do you have to put this little like apparently we're supposed to care in there, like this little thing, right? I just don't like that being so judgmental about anime. I get how it looks. It does look childish. But like it's 12 episodes and 12 minutes each. Like it's not like a huge like, oh my god, why is this vapid thing the most successful thing in Japan or something? Like if it was super popular and you wanted to like put it down a peg, sure, take a crack at Pokemon, sure, okay. I don't think that this amount of, I don't think it's warranted personally. And I get I'm going to bat for something that's probably really super vapid or whatever, but like whatever, man. You know what I mean? Like apparently we're supposed to, like, I don't know. It's a shame because these early to mid 2000s mascots have really interesting histories to them. Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah, it's not fair to the anime. Yeah, I don't know. It's just not something I'm into personally. There's a lot of, we've been going through it a lot. I've been saving all the VODs, but it's this will all be condensed, and I'll be giving kind of the most pointed examples, I guess. But I wanted to be as thorough as possible, and I didn't want to just cherry pick. In order to talk about this, in order to talk about this book, I really wanted to read all of it. No, Black happens all about the Kaisha in life. I know. Their blurb about Black Heaven was so disappointing, especially this thing that they're like, this should have been live action. Like you could have, like, the way they worded it was just like, oh, for the price of a pot of paint, you could have just done all this other shit. It's like it's not that simple. It's not that simple. I don't know. I mean, there was a PS2 game of Binchotan. Oh, yeah. Okay, I've dwelled enough in the negatives of the Binchotan. I think I talked about Binchotan for maybe 10 minutes. I'm sorry. Let me go back to my notes. We got some mixed reviews. A good deal of them, of course. Baby, Please Kill Me. Not exactly compelling, but fits the bill if you're in the mood. Okay. I thought they were mixed about Baccano. It somehow negotiates entertainment out of a mess, like a D&D player eager to create characters without starting a game. Sheesh. Let me skim their Baccano article. I'm not gonna read how they describe it, but like, let me find it. Baccano. Where are you at? Oh my gosh. So much. Oh, it's so much at the top. Yes, there it is. Okay. Has a major influence on the tale. Yeah. Original creator Ryoga Narita cites Brian De Palma's The Untouchables as a major influence on a tale that he seems to have initially conceived as bootleggers with additional magic. Compare this with Full Metal Alchemist, which similarly mixed alchemy with, eventually, connections to our mundane world. Full Metal Alchemist spoilers? Perhaps? It's vague enough where I think, I don't know. His original story was submitted as a competition entry while he was still a student and did not gain the first of its 18 sequels until after he graduated. A manga adaptation and a couple drama CD spin-off followed, very much in the modern spirit of Japanese media that favors and values an entire sensory world rather than a particularly coherent story within that world. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. This may be at least partly responsible for a storyline whose author seems to be finding out the connections between disparate characters at the same rate as the viewer. See Battle Angel for a similar issue. This may be at least partly responsible for a storyline whose author seems to be finding out the connections between disparate characters at the same rate as the viewer, like Battle Angel. I talked about it with the Battle Angel thing. They were pretty negative on Battle Angel, but I think that was really weirdly unwarranted to be like, oh, the author clearly doesn't know where this is going. Like, who are you to say that, you know? And a creator that seems less interested in plot, than in quirky, cool-looking characters, like a Dungeons and Dragons player who endlessly generates new characters rather than starting a game. However, the screenwriters under Noboru Takagi seem to embrace this chaos, plumping for a twisty, non-linear narrative that owes more to the style and technique of Snatch and Pulp Fiction, and which dares the viewer to keep watching in sheer bafflement. Sometimes it might feel like someone is unhelpfully switching channels on you, but the storyline eventually coalesces and largely resolves itself by episode 13. The 3 that follow were a video-only bonus tying the few loose ends for the fans, but feeling like something of an anticlimax. Against all odds, Baccano makes a virtue of its complexity and wildly varying tone, which swings between comedy and gory violence, somehow negotiating entertainment and thrills out of a mess that could all too easily have had the opposite effect. So they kind of praise it for that, but it's pretty mixed, honestly. Shaves Anime Encyclopedia final review video. Apparently we're supposed to care. Oh, man. Oh, no. I mean, I think we're getting a lot of value out of reading all of this and, like, learning about different things. Like, again, I think when I started this stream at the beginning with, they talked about advertising and sponsorship, and they went further back from Astro Boy and talked about how, like, the majority of animation that was being made in Japan were commercials, and a lot of them are lost to time. And there's this really cool book that talks about all of them, and like that was interesting. That was really additive and cool. And then they started talking about Gundam, and now they're all, it's fun to point out when an anime is clearly sponsored by Coca-Cola. It's like, whatever, dude. I think it fell apart at the end. I wonder if they have an entry for Mon Chéri Coco. Let me Control F that. Mon Chéri Coco. Just real quick. I'm not going to read it if we find it, but I just want to see if maybe. 0 results. When I type in Mon Chéri Coco, there are 0 results in the 3rd edition. So I guess that's a no. Anyway, yeah. So pretty mixed on Baccano. Bakugan. Again, it's like they didn't put nearly as much effort in as much as the Battle Spirits one. Well-constructed professional product. Pointless to criticize it because it does nothing more. Then what's the rest of these? What are the rest of these? What are you doing? Like, what do you mean? Do you just have nothing to say about it? Then don't say anything at all. What does that mean? I don't get it. Ballattack. So far, so predictable. However, it's notable for being the first mecha series, it's abbreviated, the first mecha series to introduce true comedy? I don't know what they mean. I don't know if true comedy is like a dictionary, like there's a strict definition for true comedy. It's like it's a style of comedy, true comedy. Or is it like, this is real it's comedy I laugh at. Like, is that what they're talking about? Huh? But a Ballattack, I guess, is the first mecha anime with comedy in it. 77 is when Ballattack came out. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if I'd necessarily call Get a Robo a comedy. Although I might call Mazinger Z a comedy. Like Mazinger has plenty of comedy, I thought. Shame, but understandable. I recently picked up a couple cells of that series. Nice. Yeah. Barum 1, they thought it was unsettling. I was like, that could be positive or negative. Maybe it's negative. I don't know. Maybe that's intentional. I thought it was mixed. Bartender. I thought they would like this one. But they thought it was odd. What is this? Teeth-itchingly sincere dialogue. What does that mean? Also found an aim for the Ace painting signed by Sugino that I got. Oh my god! What era? Is that like a 79? Is that 73? Is that the Ace 2 era? What style? Like, you can tell by his design. If it's by Sugino, then you can tell if it was like late 70s or earlier than that. or way later, like in the 80s or 90s. I'd be interested in what style that was. Yeah, teeth-itchingly sincere dialogue. What are you talking about? I don't know what that means. Basquatch. Animation/design is always good and stunning. Can't compensate for uneven plot and formulaic characters. Yeah, alright. I don't know. They always seem to lean into that direction, I think. Oh, that's too bad. Bastion Lie is a modern docudrama, argues not unreasonably. I thought the not unreasonably thing is an opinion, but it doesn't really paint it one way or the other as a positive or negative, so I'm like, I guess it's mixed. This list is about which one does it spouse an opinion, right? I think it's Ace 2. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I can imagine that because I remember seeing a lot of like promotional art of like Oka Hiromi. So that I can believe that for sure. Yeah, Bayonetta, I thought was cliched but tightly paced and enjoyable enough. They seemed all right about it. You know, definitely looking down their nose of it because it's a video game adaptation, I guess. They were explaining what a video game adaptation needs to do, and it's like, oh, okay. Teeth interesting sincere dialogue means I was emotionally affected and now I'm uncomfortable. Oh. Okay. I guess if they were like late to the genre, so they didn't seem like they were completely liking it, I guess. Be Angel Escalator. Superior ripoff of Devadacy. What the hell? 2 years? Who's going to notice? This is the second time where they're like calling something A ripoff, but B something that like they recreate, like, and they accurate this in their advertising thing too, where like, oh, they're just making something new every 2 years. As if that's some like cynical observation to make, right? It's like, I mean, yeah, I guess. Who's going to notice? If only Mon Cherie Coco wasn't Lost Media. Yeah, that's too bad. Beck, I thought they were pretty mixed about. Yo, I didn't know you were streaming. I'm sorry, Mike. Archive. It was a last minute decision, Archive, Mike. I came back from work. It was 5 p.m. I'm like, you know, I'd be streaming at 6 normally. Let's do it instead of like watching a bunch of anime. I've been super busy subbing a DBZ Funimation Saban era dub interview in Arabic, so that they shut up about the dub we got. Nice. Let's go. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they were mixed on Beck. It avoids the pitfalls of Black Heaven and Gravitation by focusing on the music. You never complained about Black Heaven for not focusing on the music. And also, I don't know. I think Beck pretty much focuses on it on the music just as much as fucking Black Heaven, which is not as much as I would like, not as much as I certainly would like. Mixed dialogue, as in like the American and Japanese dub, like you know, when you watch the sub, there's a lot of English. Is either cute or irritating. Yeah, okay. Beelzebub. Animation is pedestrian and writing is uneven, but it's fun. I'm like, okay. Dude, it was that was also a very strange... I put it in odd choices, of course, but let me read it. Let me read that one. Not the whole thing, just this one line. Like, the way they describe it, I'm like, so what? Like, why is it singling out Beelzebub for this? Okay. To bring any manga to life for TV animation takes a huge crew. Beelzebub has 40 animation directors, 15 assistants, over 60 key animators, and more than 70 studios contributing to the animation team alone. Plus superstars including Yasuomi Umezu and Atsuko Nakajima taking charge of the multiple opening and ending credit sequences. Yet for the most part, the animation is fairly pedestrian, despite a few impressive slugfests. Yeah, that's a lot of TV anime. Like, I'm not trying to be like negative about that. Like, that happens a lot. Not even so not like saying all of TV anime looks pedestrian, but the fact that like the result of something looking pedestrian has this many animation like, it's a 60 episode show. I can understand that. Like, it's probably ones that have a way more, and like, you probably say that about Naruto or something. I don't know. God, the rain is very heavy outside. It has a bit of a head scratcher to me, especially when people have accused Devacity of itself of ripping off Evangelion. I don't know. I don't get it. I haven't read their article about it yet. What the hell? What about all the high school drama, though? There's plenty of that in Beck. I know. That was my problem with it. It just didn't focus enough on the band. I don't get it. But that's my opinion, right? I can't knock them for that. It's just my opinion. But like, you know, it's just a mixed. I'm not gonna like make a sticking point out of it. It's just a matter of difference of opinion. Haikyuu avoids the pitfalls of sports anime by focusing on the character. No, they literally say that about Big Wind Up. Hayden, I like earlier on, positive review on Big Wind Up. Animation good, at least as much about the characters as it is about the match. Like, straight up the same thing. Dude. I don't get it. Anyway, but that was a weird thing about Beelzebub, that they were like, oh, it has 40 animation directors. Like, what does that have to do with anything? They're like, oh, but the animation's pedestrian despite a couple standouts. I'm like, okay. I'm not surprised, but like, why word it like that? I think they were just trying to find a creative way to talk about that, I guess. I don't know. Just say it's pedestrian. Like, whatever. Beetleborg, they were mixed on. Standard Kids Adventure Fair. So I'm like, I guess that's I don't know, I could take one way or the other about it, but it seems like an opinion. Betrayal Knows My Name. Feels like eating too many marshmallows in one sitting. You know, they seem to, they kind of have an even-handed of like compliments and some criticisms for it. It feels like it's a bunch of pretty boys, I guess. But it's like kind of a sensory overload type of thing. Okusama wa Maho Shoujo, which, by the way, they call Bewitched Agnes. Maybe that is how it was localized. I certainly don't know. Like, I'm not trying to be a fucking weeb or something about like, oh, it's like, why call Full Alchemist Regetsu for Tsuji? I don't know, whatever. Like, I'm not trying to be a weeb or something, but like, I'm not gonna remember what show you're talking about. The one where the mom is the magical girl and the girl outfit doesn't fit her or anything, and it's more of a laid back kind of a gentle humor and tear-jerking melodrama, a pastiche. I thought they were I think that's a bit of a mixed opinion. I think, like, it doesn't, like, they're saying that stuff has it, but does it, like, I don't know. Yeah, but it was just kind of a weird, like, oh, somehow, like, okay. And then wait, have I been, wait, oh yeah, it's fine. I was just thinking if the nose was like cut off or something. And then Bizarre Cage I thought was mixed. This is like a cunning, they say that this is a cunning ruse. I'm like, okay. I don't know, there's certain things, there's certain wording, and like I can't fully grasp whether they like the show or not. And that's honestly preferable. Honestly, that's kind of preferable. I actually like that a lot. I've been enjoying a lot of their articles, a lot of their, like, this is obviously like a list of all the ones that they have an opinion about, and it seems like a lot, but compared to how many there are, I don't know the ratio just yet. I don't know why they just say my wife is a magical girl. I know. I like, okay, Bewitched Agnes, all right. No, I don't get it. So I don't want to completely kill this idea yet. The idea of elaborate versus generic entry, because we have that here in this reading, where Battle Spirits is a very elaborate entry. But like, why? You know, and it's sort of like unusual. I was thinking maybe if I really give a shit, like, oh my god, this would take a lot of time. But like if I highlighted each article and do like a word count, and if it goes above a certain threshold, say 200 words, I don't know. Like, I'd have to give it like an average, right? I'd have to find like what seems like an average thing for them. If it goes above a certain word count, it's like, okay, this is a lot. This is an extensive article. But if it goes underneath one, it's like there is dead ass an article here that's one sentence. It's one sentence. It's one sentence. Why is it in here? Right? Because it's I don't know. It's not enough. And then there's something. It's sort of like, obviously, it's hard to dictate like, oh, this is too much. I don't want to go that far with it. But I also think it's important to really give a list of like, what are ones where they gave a lot of attention to. So what is that? And then maybe there's a correlation there. What does it say about their prerogatives in space? I don't know. Something to find some similarities out of. So I don't want to give up on this idea. I just have to reconfigure it and really take some time to do it, I guess. They do have some little spoilers for Baron 1. They thought there was a little too much synopsis, and like you're going into detail, like, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. Like, okay. Battle Spirits, again, they kind of spoil it a little. They go all out for Battle Spirits, man. Her father is blank, blank, blank. I don't know. Black Gate, they say it ends on a cliffhanger, and I'm not sure if this is considered a spoiler. What do you guys think? Like, if you read this and you read that Black Gate ends on a cliffhanger, would you consider that a spoiler? I'm not sure. That wife ain't magical. Yeah, fair. Yeah. Let me know about that. If ends on a cliffhanger should be considered a spoiler. Couple odd choices. Again, how tiny the Babuka entry is. Let me give you the visual for that very quick. Again, I've been giving a number of visuals for the encyclopedia, and I apologize. Let me see. Babuka. It's a lot. Babuka. Where are you? Yeah, Babuka. Dude! It's hard to... let me just... It's hard to tell because of the way this is broken out like this. But, like, that's it. This is created by Miss Pictures Label Celeb. This short slice of life... Like, I get it. It's only, like... It's very short. I understand. This short slice of life porn about a woman involved with mobsters also has a follow-up episode. Babuka Lady Soul Worker. That's it? This short slice of life porn about a woman involved with mobsters? That's all we know about it? Know what I mean? It's like, oh. I was just very surprised how short that is. It's very strange. I wouldn't. Kind of important to know up front, I feel. I think so. That was what was making me think. Maybe it's not spoilers. Baka and Test. Fans too shy to actually go to a local temple. I specified the odd choices, and I identified this just to go into this recurring pattern of contempt for anime fans. Or people who watch this stuff. The fans of this show are too shy to actually go to a local temple. That's why they say that because they're like, oh, that's what this OVA is for. You know what I mean? I think that's maybe what you were referring to earlier, Roger. Yakitate Japan, they had a really weird... Food has a long been a fetish for the Japanese. Weird way to put it, in my opinion. Like, okay. Okay. I don't understand. I don't get it. Food has long been a fetish for the Japanese. Okay. They didn't say much else about it, though. They say other stuff, but it's like, okay. They didn't give their opinion about this show, either. They were just like, oh, there's a lot of foodie anime. It's like, okay. Bartender. The Bagan test portion is just rude. Yeah. Seriously. Bartender seems better suited to live-action TV drama. Exactly. Because it's bringing this idea where there's some of this stuff shouldn't be animated. This shouldn't be anime. This should be... But, like, that totally goes against the idea, in my opinion, of anime being whatever it wants. And it's something to be celebrated that it's able to do that stuff. Basilisk. Again, Naruto's supposed to kill... Ninja's supposed to kill people. Battle Spirits. Yeah, there's just, like, a lot about Battle Spirits, right? The alternate world of Isekai. Like, they describe the world, I guess, is named Isekai, but, like, they don't point out that it's supposed to mean another world. Like, this is in 2015 where they know, I thought they kind of know what the word Isekai is, and I feel like they would explain it out. Maybe it's in their argot and jargon thing, but they don't point it out. They just very nonchalantly say it's the alternate world of Isekai. Okay. And again, it's an unusually long article. It ages up the characters like Naruto. Like I mentioned that. Most TV anime is either advertising or education. I'm like, what are you talking about, right? Japanese food fetish reminds me of the film Tampopo. Good movie. I think they mentioned that. That sounds familiar. I think they actually mentioned that in... I have to look for... It's Baked Japan. Like, that's what... Of course, that's gonna... Oh my god. Yeah, Bake Japan. There was so many. There was like 3 separate instances in this reading where I was like, oh right, we can suddenly talking about Yakite Japan. Suddenly talk about Kimonozume. Suddenly talk about this other thing. I'm like, oh, where I'm thinking. Where does it say that? Yes, the date of the switch from famine hunger to feast enjoyment was arguably the release of Juzo Itami's bubble-era live-action movie Tampopo, which subsequently inspired a number of gourmet manga and their live-action adaptations, including Sommelier and The Chef. But like, they're not going to talk about Oishi. Wait a minute. Oh, there it is. Yeah. From the dessert fantasies of the deprived post-war era in Princess Anmitsu, through the Epicurean obsessions of Oishimbo and the infantile food fixation of Slayers. Oh yeah, my favorite food anime, Slayers. Okay, sure. It's funny. Tampopo came to mind too. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm happy they mentioned it too. I think the isekai part was just not checked because the term was not very well known by the West in 2015. Yeah, I guess they may have just assumed it was the name of the show, the name of the place, and maybe it was. And maybe it's like a tongue-in-cheek thing. I don't know. Yeah, Kimonozume. Negative spoilers? Huh? Like, because of the like, they didn't even spoil the fact. It's not even a spoiler. It's in the poster. If anyone looks up Kimonozume, they'll know that the wife, the girl, is a monster. Like, that's part of the premise. Yakite Japan creators, the same creator of Super Yo-Yo. Let's go. Onisuki. Right. That was in poor taste in regards to 311. Okay, this was weird. I have to look it up. Like, the title is super different and long and junk. I have to find it. Because I don't like my big brother at all. And I looked up on Taiga of like, what is the common abbreviation of this, and it's Onisuki. And they talk about Watamote, and they do that. Like, I think they have Watamote probably listed on, I don't know, maybe they don't. I don't know. It was weird. Like, they acknowledge the existence of Japanese acronyms, but they don't use it in like the AKA or something like that. I don't know. Right, okay. Episode 10 gained that holy grail of erotic anime, a removal from the airwaves, but not for its sexual content. A sequence of the characters being swept away by a tidal wave was judged to be in poor taste after the Great East Japan earthquake. Right, that was in poor taste. Like, I get that's kind of an elbow, like, tee-hee. Like, they're just making a joke. But, like... I don't know. That's that was in poor taste. I think what you just wrote was a little in poor taste, personally. I'm trying not to be holier than thou. I'm not trying to be a dick or anything. It's just like, it's just, like, okay. It's just a strange choice to me. Beelzebub again. How many 80s there are? Okay. Twice the localized names didn't clue me into what the anime was. I'd say 3 times almost. Kimonozume, Okusamawa, Big Boobed Maid Hunting. No credits. Failed to turn up any names. So they have this anime. I assume it's a hentai. Maybe that's rude of me to assume it's a hentai, but you know, the title is, it's called Big Boobed Maid Hunting. Bakunyu Maid Kari. I am not checking. Like, I'll check Mal, but not on stream. Like, not while showing it. I don't want to Bankyu. Oh my god, I don't want to. I'm gonna look up this goddamn hentai. Bankyu Maid Kari. Maid. Kari. Give me the... Oh, god damn it. I'll look it up in English. Pooped maid. Son of a bitch. Maid hunting. God damn it. I don't want to look this shit up. It's funny. It's funny what's coming up instead, because when I type in big boobed maid hunting, the first thing is Hunter x Hunter, and Black Lagoon. Be the beginning. It's not showing up. It's just not showing up. Wait a minute, dude. Is it not even on Mal? I don't want to. I'll incognito this. I'm gonna new incognito window. I don't want to look this up. Anime. God. Okay, and on Hentai Core, I'm not clicking on anything. It's called Huge Breasted Maid Hunt Sequel. What? Like, god damn it! Like, of course you're not gonna find anything. But like, the reason I'm making a stink about this, right? The reason we're talking about it, they censored on Mal anyways. Okay, is because they write. MediaBank's Hot Bear label, which made this DVD, are slow to give credit, even for a porn company. Our usually reliable Japanese sources have failed to turn up any names, even laughable pseudonyms. You'll just have to amuse yourselves trying to imagine how any of these girls would ever carry a tea tray without knocking everything off of it. So, like, director, not credited. Script, not credited. Design, not credited. Animation, not credited. Music, not credited. Production, Hot Bear, Magardon. Are there no credits at the end of this? That's correct. I can kind of believe it, but like, really? Also, I'm sorry I haven't commented on read the comments in a while. Slayers does have a lot of food scenes in episodes, but I wouldn't call it a food ad. I know. I haven't even seen it, and I know I wouldn't call it that. I don't think the argument for any episode being pulled was in poor taste. I just think it was poor timing. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just sort of like awkward, you know? They censored the promotional posters on Mail anyways. Oh, that's fair, I guess. Okay, I guess that's fair. I still don't want to risk it, though. But yeah, I'm like, okay, why include it then? Right? Of all the hentai that's out there, you're obviously not going to put in all of it. You're not going to get anywhere close to all the hentai that's out there and existing and everything. But you're going to choose this one? Is it because you can't find anything about it? But it's not very useful of an encyclopedia entry if you don't even have any information on it, right? I don't know. That was just very weird. Maybe the staff was embarrassed. I mean, sure, like, I can understand that. And I understand, like, if it... My question is sort of like, why is it in the encyclopedia then? You know? Guess we'll have to watch the Hentai for Science just to be sure. I'm not doing that. Yeah, a bit Jotan. I could not believe it. A cute little girl who lives in a simple life in the mountain. As if we're supposed to care, or like, like, what was it again? Apparently we're supposed to care. Oh my gosh, I can't get over that. So mask off, dude. Don't do that. I don't know why that's entered. I put in this new section called Good One, because these are not odd choices so much as it is like, you know, I'm happy you said that. And also just something I wanted to mention, and also just like, these are partly, like, odd choices are odd choices, but they're also notes. There's things for me to remember, you know? Little things that they do. But the good ones I wanted, Apache Akugan. They say that, like, this would have been completely forgotten and gone completely under their, like, fans' radar, except Takahata directed episodes 2, 12, and 17. I watched this show. I had no idea. I don't even know if it's on Mal. Maybe it is, and I'm just stupid. Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be the first time. Apache Akugan. He is not listed on Mal. That's crazy. Isao Takahata is not credited for this on Mal. Not that I trust Mal as a source, of course. Let's look up Anime News Network. Apache Yakugan. They do have it listed. They do have Isao Takahata directed episodes 2, 12, and 17. That is cool. That is really cool. And I'm really happy they said that. That is the kind of information I like. Well, you wonder what they write about Heidi. I don't know. Probably a good... they probably like it a lot because it's a Takahata thing, but, like, they don't really say much about Akagi no An. But I bet they say a lot more about Heidi because it's the first World Masterpiece Theater show. And that's, like, a big deal, you know? So, like, they probably like Heidi. Why do they keep wasting energies on hentai no one cares about? I don't know. I can't wait to count how many hentai there actually are and be like, you really put all this hentai in here, and then the look at the results of these other entries and stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, guys, we're running out of space, but we're gonna talk about battle spirits for 3 pages. I don't know. The description sounds like Heidi. They wouldn't be so negative if it was actually Heidi. I know. They probably wouldn't have time to watch. They probably wouldn't have time to watch Dazaki's work if they didn't keep watching random hentai. Yep, I agree. Girl lives in small house in the mountains. Who cares? Yeah, they just say that's about Heidi. Yeah, who cares? Oh man, but it's because it's Takahata, guys. Gotta suck that off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Rude. It's just like it's so consistent, you know. And then yeah, they say that Aaron is only available streaming, and archive format release in gorgeous packaging is merited. That's awesome. I'm really happy they mentioned that. And it makes me think. One of the suspicions I have is that this book, for how early it was in talking about a lot of anime, could have potentially influenced what was released in the United States or what we should care about, right? Kind of influenced the conversation. But it's little instances like this, and granted, it's the 3rd edition when this came out, when this blurb was said. It's probably by that point where they were like, well, like, the 3rd edition probably didn't have a whole lot of actual impact on the industry in the same way. Maybe it did, I don't know if it did. But it's something to think about, I guess. But, yeah, it's something I wanted to mention. All right, we're about an hour 40 in. We'll probably be 2 hours again. Let's go. We're doing good. Now we're full screen. Thanks for watching. So now we're on open read. And again, I'm so sorry I don't have a goddamn... I guess I'm feeling better now that I'm kind of in the groove and, you know, you guys are here. I appreciate it a lot. So now we're on open read. If you guys think of anything from the letter, starting with the letter B, going to Blackjack, if you want me to read it, I will be more than happy to. I'll give you a few minutes when the chat catches up and such. Yeah, lol, it happened to me when I got excited thinking I've found a lost English dub of Phoenix 272, when it's just A&N and Wikipedia that didn't mention it and trolled me. Ah, damn, haha. Is what it is, I guess. You know, a lot of people are happy about Macross Plus movie coming to the movie theaters. It is pretty cool. You know what's so funny is like I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that like that's so crazy that like a Macross property is being accessed in the United States like that. I don't know. Or maybe it's just like I'm not as enthused about Macross Plus. Well, I liked it for sure. Or maybe it's like the movie comp. I heard movie comp is great, so that's fair. Oh, Kanane was I'm just looking on Twitter. Apparently, Sabungo got new artwork for the Blu-ray. Got new artwork out. That's so sick. Great to see. Anyway, yeah. If you guys have any particular articles from the 3rd edition you want me to read or you're curious about. Very nice. Do they have Beck? Yeah, they do. They were mixed on Beck, but I'll read their article on it. Do. Beku Mongolian Chop Squad, which they don't even list it as Beck Mongolian Chop Squad. It's just Beck. Average 8th grader. By the way, they didn't mention Osamu Kobayashi in this show at all. They don't mention that he directed it, by the way. Not like it's not the biggest deal in the world, I guess, but it's sort of a missed opportunity. Average 8th grader Yukio Koyuki Tanaka has no special talents or interesting hobbies, and occasionally is the victim of school bullies. While he's trying to rescue an ugly dog, his path crosses that of guitarist Ryusuke Rei Minami. The dog is Rei's beloved Beck, after whom his band and this anime series are named. Rei used to be in a band with rock legend Eddie of top American band Dying Breed. He owns a superb Les Paul guitar he calls Lucille, a namesake of the B.B. King's instrument. And to Koyuki, he seems the epitome of cool. Drawn into his world, Koyuki falls in love with music and the rock and roll lifestyle, but his new hero has some serious problems. He made many enemies in the USA, including powerful promoter Leon Sykes, the original owner of both Beck and Lucille. As Koyuki's own talent develops, he acquires a guitar of his own, a Fender Telecaster, and becomes a lead vocalist with the group, which acquires the dual identity as Mongolian Chop Squad in America because the USA already has a singer called Beck. Beck, the anime, smartly avoids the pitfalls of Black Heaven and Gravitation, dropping some of the comedy of Harold Sakuishi's original manga and making the music one of the main stars of the show. I don't agree, but that's okay. The main leads each have 2 voice actors in the original Japanese release, 1 normal voice for dialogue and actual singers for their performances. Is that really worth pointing out? I don't know. Using vocalists from the bands Husking Bee and YKZ. I guess that point's interesting to point out, but like they have 2 voice actors. Like, yeah, that's usual. I feel like that's a typical thing. The bilingual nature of the action and characters, however, leads to an amount of mixed English-Japanese dialogue in the original release, which is either cute or irritating, depending on where one stands. The anime is packed with references to rock staples and legends, many of which have been around far longer than its young audience. It has also inspired a game for the PS2 in the live-action film Beck, directed by Yukihiko Tsutsumi. Okay. I mean, I personally thought they were mixed, but that might be a little more positive than I realized. How do I get into macro, says Joanne. I don't know where to start. I started with the original. I started with the very first one, Macros, from 1982. Although I don't think Bob's still here. Bob Samurai just put out a perfect video for you, because he has a full guide and goes through the whole franchise and tells you kind of where you should start, what you should check out, and where to go, and gives you the whole workaround. So definitely check out Bob Samurai's channel for a good Macros recommendation video. But I would say I started with the original Macros. It's 36 episodes. Yeah, it's good. But you can watch 7 on its own too, or Plus, or any of those. I don't know where to start. Bakemonogatari, it's a fave. I know you said they were positive. Yeah, I'll go check out Bake. It was really crucial for the article to mention that Koyuki played a Telecaster. Yeah, of course. Actually, I'm quite curious to know what's written about Future Boy Conan. Still gotta watch back. Kobayashi did so much for the shows he's worked on. Paradise Kiss is goated. I'll check the video. Thank you. Awesome. What was I thinking? Oh yeah, Bakemonogatari. Let's go check it out. And if no one else has another B title, we can check out Future Boy Conan as well. Bakuman, Bakemonogatari. Koyomi Araragi is a third-year high school student and recovering vampire. He was cured by the way, I don't think this is a spoiler. Do you think that's a spoiler? Let me know. I haven't seen Bakemonogatari yet. He was cured by middle-aged vagrant Oshino. So when he discovers that a withdrawn and solitary girl in his class also has a supernatural problem, he introduces her to Oshino. Once her problem is solved, she agrees to become his friend, and later his girlfriend. But Koyomi also gets involved with a series of other girls, living and dead, each of whom has a different spectral issue that needs his help and Oshino's guidance. And then there's Shinobu, the vampire who attacked him, who now has the appearance of an 8-year-old girl. With a bunch of pretty girls, each nurturing some sort of affliction, problem, or hang-up that Koyomi has to cure, and usually immensely grateful for his assistance, Bakemonogatari swiftly turns into a supernatural harem show. See their romance and drama section. With Koyomi as the competent fixer, parentheses, compared to Clanad. At least it wasn't Techibuyo. But there's more to it than that. Not all of the problems are simply resolved. It's so funny to like see these older guys watching Bakemonogatari, and it's like, it's like Clanad. It's just funny. It's probably true, but it's funny. But there's more to it than that. Not all of the problems are simply resolved, and Koyomi is soon struggling with issues in ethics and responsibility that makes his quest more than a simple set of box-ticking, girl-attracting good deeds. The clever use of language, with verbal and visual puns in Japanese, has made the series difficult to translate, but even in its English incarnation, the dialogue is witty and packed with character development. The characters are well balanced, with a realistic mix of cruelty and pettiness amid the good, and Shaft's animation makes a virtue of the limitations of TV anime, playing with text and color to create a fresh, vibrant screenscape. Fan service, questionable behavior verging on molestation, and brief, intensely bloody action scenes are part of the mix. I just like that they're like, yes, they exist. The problematic elements, they exist. Only the first 12 episodes were aired on the original TV run. The final 3 were released on the series website. These are therefore, strictly speaking, original net animation. A portmanteau constructed from the Japanese words for ghost or monster and story, Bakemonogatari is based on a series of books by Nisio Isin, illustrated by the Taiwanese artist Vofan, I don't know. The series currently runs to 16 volumes with a PC visual novel, Arga and Jargon, drama CD, and merchandise spin-offs. A second anime TV series, Nisei Monogatari, Phony Story, followed in spring 2012. Wouldn't it be funny if they just called it Monster Story in the title instead of Bakemonogatari? They just call it Monster Story because it's the localized title. Oh! Its name, also a portmanteau word, leads us to expect twisted tales of people who are fakes in many more ways than might at first appear, and in this front it doesn't disappoint. But the material seems thin and stretched in comparison to the first series. It veers further into sexually dubious territory, and tosses in another kind of fan service, with homages to other anime including Akira and Conan the Boy Detective. The end of 2012 saw a 4-part TV series, Neko Monogatari, in which one of Koyomi's friends is possessed by a demon cat, compared to the superior Bakeneko in Ayakashi Samurai Horror Tales. Like, okay. Yeah, this one's better, by the way, guys. Like, you have to sneak that in. A prequel movie, Kizumonogatari, followed in fall 2013, as well as a quote-unquote second season, Otori Monogatari, adapting 5 more volumes of the book series across 24 episodes. Okay. Pretty good. Pretty good, I thought. Let me see the chat. Kobayashi did Paradise Kiss. I'm really partial to his season of Sun-Based Dreamers myself. Yeah. Oh, cultured, I see, Roger, yes. I've certainly been interested in that. Really just the second season. I don't know if I want to watch the first. Like, the first season seems really dull. I don't know. I would not have compared Bakemonogatari to Clanad, but it's surprisingly fitting. Baccano, Barakamon. I did read the Baccano article. I didn't read the full synopsis of it, but I did read the majority of the description of it, like their take on it. Barakamon, I don't think they have here. I don't remember seeing it. Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it came out after 2015, or maybe on 2015, and I think their cap was 2015. So like, the only anime in here is, I think Shirobako might not even be in here. Yeah, Barakamon, 0 results. Let's find Shirobako, just as a curiosity, to me at least, because I remember in the ANN podcast that they did about the encyclopedia that they hadn't seen it, or they didn't know about it or whatever. And they were like, "You'd like that." 0 results. So no Shirobako either, even though it was a 2014 show. Oh well. Well, I forgot they compared Nekomonogatari to Ayakashi. Yeah. Conan the Boy Detective? Right, this came out in 2001 before Case Closed existed. Yeah. Well, no. Their article on Bakemonogatari where they say Conan the Boy Detective, this is from 2015. So, like, they're still using Conan the Boy Detective as their, like, they're not even using Detective Conan. Conan the Boy Detective. Conan the Boy is what I'm searching right now. Yeah, they call it Conan the Boy Detective every other place that they cite it. And yeah, it's an article. The article is May Tante Conan, aka Famous Detective Conan, Case Closed, like comma, Case Closed. I guess maybe in the UK? They probably explain it somewhere in here. They probably explain it somewhere in there of why they named it that. But let's find Future Boy Conan. Future Boy Conan. Future Boy Con. Of course, they reference it a lot. Okay, Future Boy Conan. Not a big article. 20 years after a devastating nuclear war in 2008, only scattered communities of humans are left living on small islands that were once mountaintops. Conan grows up on his island with his grandfather, believing themselves to be the last survivors of their race until a young girl, Lana, is washed up on the shore. She is a refugee from the evil military kingdom of Industria, which is trying to revive the use of dangerous energy sources. A first-time directing job for Hayao Miyazaki that incorporated elements he would later reuse in his Nausicaa and Castle in the Sky. Though the original genesis of Future Boy Conan lay in the novel The Incredible Tide by Alexander Keith. The series was also edited into Future Boy Conan the movie, which was released 3 months before Cagliostro, and hence could be argued on it technically to be Miyazaki's first quote-unquote movie. Nobody believes that. Nobody thinks that. Nobody, like, you're alone on that. Like, I think you're alone in that. Like, it could be argued, like, technicality. Like, shut up. No. Miyazaki, I don't think, was intending to make that. It was out of necessity. He probably would, like, no, that is not my first movie, fuck off. The franchise was revived as Future Boy Conan 2, Taiga Adventure, directed by Miyazaki's former assistant, Keiji Hayakawa. I did not know that. Bro, what? I did not know that. That's weird. How did I not know that? Sequel. Mirai Shonen Conan 2. I did know this. No, wait. I do know this. I do remember this visual. Let me pull it up on the desktop. I do remember this. Yes. Now, well. Fair, I suppose. Yeah. Interesting. I'll go to my full screen, sorry. Yeah, okay. Oh, I didn't read the whole thing. Though its relationship to the original is extremely tenuous. The eponymous Taiga and his archaeologist father, Professor Dino, are searching for ancient artifacts in South America, where there was supposedly a mysterious creature that could build great metallic birds 20,000 years before. Huh? As he fights with treasure hunters for control of the ancient power stones, Taiga discovers that the ancient O-parts devices can power land, sea, and air machines that are each designed to look like a giant animal. In other words, it's a rehash of Babel Nisei and Mysterious Cities of Gold, with a name designed to promise more than it actually delivers. Sheesh! They don't say anything about Future Boy Conan in that. They don't give an opinion. They don't give an opinion at all about it. A first-time directing job for Hayao Miyazaki that incorporated elements he would later reuse in his Nausicaa and Castle in the Sky. And they're like, technically, there's like, what? Okay. Finally, someone besides me remembers Case Closed. I feel like I was the only one who watched it on Adult Swim. That's even better. Their cap seems to be Spring 2014. The most recent series I remember seeing is M3. Okay. The movie edit wasn't even directed by Miyazaki. He had no involvement in that movie cut. Oh no! Oh no! I'm gonna write that down just in case I forget it. It's gonna be down here. Future Boy Conan. The movie the movie comp could technically count as his first movie before Cagliostro. Parentheses, it wasn't even directed by him. Had no involvement. Lol. Sheesh. Once again, I found right after Future Boy Conan his Future Card Buddy Fight. Another, like, you know, similar idea, right? But they don't say as much about it. I don't know. Their opinion is Miyazaki means masterpiece. Yeah. It would be interesting to see if there's one that they don't like. I doubt it. I very much doubt it. But, like, they didn't say anything about Future Boy Conan. It could be the only one that they don't give an opinion about. That would be a real hook, line, and sinker about their contempt for TV animation. If they just don't say anything about even a TV series that Miyazaki himself worked on, not even mentioning that he worked on it, but, like, direct, like, that's his show. Why don't you have any sort of reverence for that show the same way you have for all of his movies, right? Would be very interesting to see. Anywho, it's getting close to 2 hours, fellas. So I think I'm gonna cut it off around here. If anyone has any other last minute things, and obviously it doesn't mean we, you know, if I don't cover one and you want to cover it, if you want to go back to A or something, we can do that. But if I've read it before, then you can just check the VODs or something. But I think this is it. And the AMV might actually, probably not. It has like 3 AMVs to go after this. It's probably not gonna make it. I was saying it's gonna make it to like the end of the thing. Howl's Moving Castle? Maybe you mean maybe they don't say it, they don't praise it. I highly doubt that they don't praise Howl's Moving Castle, dude. There's no way they didn't like that movie. There's no way. I'm just gonna skim it. I'm not gonna read it out loud because obviously it's a big article. Of course it takes 2 pages or something. Howl's Moving Castle is a charming film, visually inventive and magnificently crafted. Yep. Oh no! Oh my gosh! You know how Mamoru Hosoda was supposed to direct that movie? They write in their article of Howl's Moving Castle, Howl's Moving Castle was originally intended for another director until Miyazaki stepped in. The legendary perfectionist seemingly unable to let a good idea go to waste, even though he had supposedly retired. Oh my god! They don't even mention that fucking person was fucking Hosoda! Oh my gosh! Oh, it's 2 hours. Damn, I went over. Alright, I'm gonna get out of here. What did they say about birth? Not good. I already know from a previous... nothing good. You won't want to know. But we're gonna get there. I don't even think it's listed as birth. That's the fucking weird thing. You said Shirabako's not in Encyclopedia? Tell us your entry for that. My entry? I haven't seen it yet. I should. I really want to. It just hasn't been on my radar in an immediate way. Honestly, I'll go a little while long, not too long. like a minute over or something because I started super late. Honestly, what does it say about case closed and tech? A lot. It's a big article, of course. Correction, there's 2 film edits. The one Miyazaki directed was from 84, years after Cagliostro. Uh-huh. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, but I think I'm gonna call it a little over 2 hours. It's okay. I started super late. Thank you guys for joining me on this. It was a good time. Hope you liked the VOD. Again, sorry I didn't have camera. I'm so pissed. I hope I can actually get it to work. I restarted both my computer and my phone. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It sucks. I might have to buy a video. I should anyway. Honestly, like, no excuse, but yeah, I don't know. It's annoying. Sheesh, did they just diss someone for not being Miyazaki? Yeah, they did. Anyway, I'll get out of you guys' hair. Thanks so much for coming. Yo, peace. I do have an over screen, so now I can actually just like cut the YouTube VOD off like perfect. It's not gonna fucking. All right, yo, peace. I'm doing the peace sign. I swear, I am. I was saying that at first, and now I'm doing it. Yo, peace.